Today's corporate traveller is at the centre of managed travel. Your travellers want and expect more. So let's try and make business travel more enjoyable. Look again. Welcome to Personalization in Managed Travel 3.0. Let's take an everyday example where personalization can help improve the business travel experience. Meet Anna. Anna is waiting to board her flight, tired after a long day of business meetings. She's suddenly aware of two noisy children behind her. Anna hopes she isn't seated near them on the flight. She needs to rest. She soon realizes that their seats are next to hers and quickly takes out her phone to change her seat using her TMC's mobile app. With her seat quickly changed, Anna boards the plane relieved and happy that she had the option to sit elsewhere, and now looks forward to the more peaceful journey ahead.
So I don't know about you, but I have found myself in that situation more than once. I travel a lot for my work, roughly 8 weeks per year between long haul and short haul flights. Whether it is the wrong bag, the wrong size of a bag in a cabin, whether it is the hotel room in front of an ice machine, or whether it is not knowing to take a cab or public transport into the city, I've been in all of those situations, and I'm sure you have as well. My name is Airline Coyle. I'm Director of Managed Travel at Amadeus. Even if these services are not offered by the travel management companies today, that doesn't prevent the traveller from booking them. And that, in essence, is what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about managed travel, the expectation of travellers, and how technology is making that a much more interesting and engaging experience. Today is all about merchandising, and merchandising in the managed travel space. Today the TMC plays a key role. They basically have to serve as two masters, one being the corporation, the other being the corporate traveller. That triangle is absolutely key. That is the key to a successful managed travel programme. On the one hand, the corporation is looking for risk and compliance, travel within policy, reduction of cost. But on the other hand, the traveller is looking for a level of flexibility and a level of understanding of what he does. The trip does not stop at the minute the ticket is issued. The trip does not stop the minute the traveller has checked into a hotel. The trip is the entire end-to-end process, the minute that you leave home to the minute that you come back. Today's travellers are experienced, they're empowered, and they know what they want from their managed travel experience. So we can offer that in the industry today the same way as the online players have done it. There's no reason why we can't replicate that in the managed travel environment. Travel policy today only determines a certain amount of what a corporation wants a traveller to do. What the traveller actually does on trip is radically different. So if a TMC can somehow get in on providing those services to that traveller, then there's a huge upside for them. There's a huge upside for them to keep a differentiating factor versus not only their peers, but also all those other players today who are vying for a space in that channel. Everybody wants a loyal traveller, everybody wants a loyal buyer, and who could be more loyal than a corporate community of travellers that frequently travel to the same destination, have very similar needs? That's a massive captive audience, and anybody can get in on that if you have the strategy behind it. In merchandising, we have to ensure what is good for the corporation is also good for the traveller. This is not about maverick behaviour. This is about keeping control of a tightly run and tightly managed process, which is managed travel. So compliance is key. Risk management is fundamental. We can't have travellers going off the map, but merchandising, and part of merchandising in a strategy established by a corporation, serviced by a TMC, means that that circle is complete. The traveller, we know where they are, the corporation knows who's spending what, and the TMC provides that unique service in the middle that connects everyone together. Having a strategy around merchandising doesn't mean that your costs will increase. On the contrary, it means you will have better control of your costs, which means that in turn you can better negotiate your deals with suppliers. Those agencies who understand that the voice of the traveller and the actions of the traveller will determine the future in the managed travel space are the ones that are going to stay ahead of the game. So some TMCs have started to dip their toe into the managed travel or in the merchandising environment, but very few have actually gone for a swim. I would urge them all to go for that swim because the upsides and the benefits are pretty enormous. I have asked Jani, one of our experts in merchandising, to come along and explain to us what this is all about.
Hi, my name is Gianni Pisnello. I'm Strategic Director for Airline Marketing at Amadeus. And I've been spending the last 3 years helping airlines doing airline merchandising, succeeding with their airline merchandising strategies. I'm going to basically tell you that airline merchandising is no longer an option for the industry. It really is critical for everyone. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what airlines are doing and how we're helping them. Of course, the first thing that people get worried about when they hear about merchandising is they feel that this is just about extracting more money from a traveler. I don't see it that way. I see merchandising really as a way to meet someone's needs. And customers out there are really wanting more services, more choice. And through merchandising, I think we can enable that. Although we're talking about airline merchandising and merchandising of travel providers, the key person at the center of this is the traveler. And it's the traveler who has become more savvy, more sophisticated in how they search for travel and buy for travel. And as a result, airlines have had to adapt to this new traveler behavior. What we've seen is airlines focusing essentially on two big areas. One is unbundling their fares and then selling ancillaries a la carte, and then doing the reverse, which is rebundling fares into fare families, or branded fares as they call them, and to propose these as attractive offerings that a consumer would like to buy. So far, airlines have been focusing on their own website because that's the area they control the most and where they can present their offer the way they want to the consumer. They realize there's actually a massive opportunity to do the same thing in the indirect channel. And that's why airlines have become very interested over the past 3 years to provide all of their ancillaries and fare families in the indirect channel for travel agencies to consume. The great thing about the indirect channel is that we've seen spectacular increases. Just in Amadeus alone, we've seen more than 100% increases in ancillary sales, and more than 60% by volume of our airlines are offering ancillaries in the indirect channel. And this is a phenomenal change from 3-4 years ago where we had very little. So far, airlines have been focusing on seats and bags. That's 90% of all the volumes that we've seen so far, which is the logical things that a consumer would buy. But we're seeing more and more airlines coming up with new innovative ancillaries, be it meals or other things. Now, the problem from a consumer point of view is that this becomes a lot more complex. How do you compare two different offers which have different elements which are included? And this is where we can really help. We can really help corporates. We enable them to make sense of all this information and provide the right offer to their consumer. Comparing different offers is just the beginning of the challenge. What you really need to do then is be able to service and modify bookings once you've made them. And that's critical for a corporate customer. And this is where we can really help corporates and TMCs to facilitate that process in a seamless way. So there's a lot of confusion around NDC. In fact, NDC is just a messaging protocol, and you don't need NDC to do merchandising. In fact, we do merchandising today with the existing languages that we have. There may be some benefits from NDC into the future. It might enable some features to take place in merchandising that we don't have today, but it's not a requirement. The other confusion is, if an airline is using NDC, does that mean that a travel agency has to do NDC? That's not the case. We're going to make things easy for travel agencies, okay? If an airline is doing NDC, we're going to integrate their content and we'll make it seamlessly available to travel agencies the way they've always had it. So merchandising is really a win-win-win. It's a win for the corporate traveler because their needs are finally being met. It's a win for the TMC who's able to service that corporate traveler, and on top of that, enforce all the policies that the corporation has, ensure duty of care and the control that a corporation needs. And it's a win for the airline. They're finally able to differentiate themselves from other airlines and to provide the services and offerings they want to that corporate traveler. The really important point here in merchandising is that no one constituent can do it alone. You need collaboration across the whole value chain, from the airline to the TMC, all the way through to the corporate traveler. And this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to enable that collaboration to happen in a seamless and effective way. We're really just at the beginning of this journey. Merchandising has just made some baby steps in the past few years, and we've got at least 10 to 15 years of innovation coming. And personalization is going to be a core part of that. Enabling airlines, TMCs, to be able to provide a personalized service and offering to their customers. More and more TMCs are recognizing the opportunities offered by merchandising, and we've been working with quite a few TMCs recently on this topic. And just to share one of the experiences of 1TMC, we've asked Igor from Agencia to tell us a bit more about what they're doing with merchandising.
I'm Igor Marchal. I'm a director of supplier development for Agencia for the EMEA region. So Agencia is part of Expedia. We are a global travel management company present in 65 countries today. In terms of future projects, Agencia is looking at travel behavior and how we can actually anticipate their preferences in order to make the display of what we offer to them more pertinent. We also look at what the next trip could look like. The challenge with ancillaries is that they are not actually distributed in a consistent way across airlines, and what's more, are not distributed through a GDS and ultimately to us, an online booking tool, exhaustively all ancillaries from all airlines. Again, that can deteriorate the user experience from our travelers. The challenge and the positioning for us as a travel management company is really to find the right balance between helping corporations control their costs, the travel costs, but on the other hand, giving their travelers the most exhaustive content choice and really the visibility and transparency they would expect from a one-stop shop such as ours. So balancing really the requirements from the corporate buyers, procurement people, and the travel community that they manage is really the core of what Agencia's value proposition is about. Overcome all of this complexity and these challenges around rationalizing and making sense of its complexity around airfares. First of all, on branded fares, we have been pioneering fare categories, meaning that we have buckets, we have 4 categories going from fully flexible to non-flexible that we educated our travelers about, and therefore they will be able to actually shop around on our website, understanding immediately what is the level of flexibility behind each fare. When it comes to ancillaries, there we have actually now enabled for all of our online travelers the capacity to book their additional luggage online for a broad number of European carriers. So that they can do now at the same time as they book their flight. The complexity is that not all airlines distribute their ancillaries in a consistent manner to the GDS. That creates an additional challenge for us when it comes to actually providing like-for-like, apples-to-apples comparisons for the shoppers to actually know what they can get from each of these airlines. So we are really partnering with the GDS and with those airlines to actually encourage them to distribute their ancillaries in a consistent manner, following certain standards that are suggested by the GDS, and also with help from our side to actually show them what it would look like in a multiple airline, multiple fare environment, so that we make ultimately the booking experience from their travelers, people who will be sitting on those airline seats, a lot more easier to do. We're doing this through 3 things. First of all, we've acquired now know-how into how to structure that complexity, that jungle of airfares out there, to make it more palatable for online travelers. Secondly, we are continuing to partner with the GDS and with the airline partners to show them and have an interaction, clarify, guide them into the best possible way to actually have those fares and those ancillaries distributed on an online booking tool such as ours. And the third thing is speed of implementation. Of course, we're looking at scalability, we're looking at ways to have the same user experience for all our travelers moving forward. Online consumers are becoming increasingly savvy. All of us, we are booking our holidays online, we are shopping a broad number of goods online. So when you put that into an environment of corporate travel, what is really driving the business today and in the future is AnyTMC's ability to actually address the technology front, being able to adapt, keep up with the creativity and the fast-changing environment of airlines, and actually transcribing that into still a smooth, hassle-free, delightful shopping experience.
So I'd like to thank Igor and Gianni for sharing our views with us today. It's important to hear the views of the experts and particularly the voice of the customer. So with the right technology, business model and understanding of the traveller, out of all of this complexity can become a unique opportunity. That opportunity can only benefit the traveller, and it's up to us as the players in this space, whether we are a technology provider, a hotel or an airport, to create a better experience for the managed traveller and keep them engaged in their managed programme. We at Amadeus believe that we have a key role in connecting the dots between all of the players in the travel ecosystem. Connecting these dots can only mean one thing: a much better experience for the travellers, and particularly those managed travellers. The opportunities are huge. It's up to us to go now and take advantage of them. So I hope you enjoyed our video today. It certainly made me think about how we can make managed travel a much better experience for the traveller. This is the first in a series of 3 of our videos, and I hope you'll join us on our journey through Managed Travel 3.0.